Recently, and especially after the coronavirus pandemic, student burnout has become a major problem. 12th grade students and college freshmen are exceptionally vulnerable because of their adolescence and the major life changes they face. As a 12th grader myself, I have experienced and researched burnout. Today, I will use this research to evaluate different classrooms from popular media with an emphasis on factors teachers can influence with the aim of preventing student burnout. To do this, I have built a rubric based on the three largest factors: engagement, efficacy, and the development of student self-regulation skills. Each category will have a set number of points, totaling 100, that will create a grade for each classroom. This is ironic because grades can cause some of these problems, but they are still useful for our purpose in evaluating classrooms. So, let's look at the rubric. Engagement is typically thought of as equivalent to class participation, but that is not necessarily true. As explained by Corso, Michael, and others, the emerging consensus among scholars in the field is that engagement comprises three distinct but interrelated modes: engaged in thought, engaged in feeling, and engaged in action. Engaged in thought means a student is motivated and wants to learn. Engaged in feeling means a student feels safe and welcome at school and is interested in what they are learning. And engaged in action means the student is actively trying to learn. So, a singular focus on class participation is damaging as it fails to take into account the other forms of engagement, all of which are important in combating burnout due to the correlation between engagement and burnout. In fact, Shih Shu-Shen found that student burnout can be viewed as an erosion of academic engagement. From this, we can view engagement as the opposite of burnout. We can boost engagement to reduce and prevent burnout. So, we should maximize its potential by working to improve all forms of engagement. To do this in the classroom setting, engagement can be split into three relationships: student-teacher, how easy is it for the student to access the teacher, how comfortable is the student with the teacher. This category will be given 10 points. Student peers, such as, do students feel like a part of the community? Do they support each other? This will also be given 10 points. And teacher subject, is the teacher knowledgeable, and will they be able to present that knowledge to the students? Are the students confident in the teacher's ability to teach them? Will be given 20 points because of its connectivity to efficacy. If students are confident in the teacher's ability, this will create efficacy, which is one of the other major factors in preventing burnout. Efficacy is basically self-belief. It is defined by Alderman M.K as the perceived competence about performing a specific task. So, if someone has high efficacy, they believe they can do more, and as a result, they will do more. This will increase motivation and help them achieve their goals, which prevents burnout. Both teacher and student efficacy are important. Higher teacher efficacy will lead to better performing teachers, and therefore better performing students that experience less burnout. And higher student efficacy will create more student motivation and engagement, and altogether, better student performance and less burnout. So each of these will be worth 15 points. And finally, for 30 points, is the most important factor: the development of student self-regulation skills. These skills give students the ability to prevent burnout and its facets themselves, and will impact students for the rest of their lives. An example of this is time management, which helps prevent procrastination, which is linked to exhaustion and burnout. A study by Häfner, Alexander, Armin, and Verena, Oberst found that students in a time management training program experience less stress and burnout than those without the training. And skills like these can be relatively easy to implement by teachers through things like required checkpoints for projects. So let's start our evaluation with the SNL Skit classroom, which is about a substitute teacher who does not know the subject she is teaching. She starts off strong by establishing a clear goal and giving an inspirational speech.
My name is Ms. Fink, and I will be your substitute teacher today. Now, I don't know what your regular teacher does during this class, but I am here to instruct, and you are here to learn. And there is one more thing you should know. I believe in you.
This builds student efficacy and a positive student-teacher relationship. However, it all comes crashing down when she realizes how underqualified she is.
Miss, this is an honors level physics class.
This class is that?
This essentially reduces her efficacy too and establishes this teacher-subject relationship as 0. Throughout the rest of the clip, the student-teacher relationship deteriorates as she accidentally insults students. So on the rubric, classroom earns a student-teacher relationship score of 5. When it comes to the student-peers relationship, they seem to have already established healthy ones. which the substitute teacher does not disengage, so will receive a full 10 points. It is important to note that burnout is an issue that progresses over time and requires long-term solutions, so the substitute teacher may not have much effect on long-term aspects like student-peer relationships. However, full-time teachers can by organizing their classrooms in a way that promotes collaboration rather than competition, such as by grading based on students' own performances rather than based on their performance compared to their classmates. Now, back to the rubric. As previously established, the teacher-subject relationship and teacher efficacy are 0. And student efficacy will receive a 5 because the students are confident in themselves, but not in their teacher's ability to teach them, therefore impeding their ability to learn, at least for that day with that specific substitute teacher. This leaves the development of student self-regulation skills. Though the substitute teacher did not know the subject, she could have taught the students important skills, such as adequate goal setting or time management, but she failed to do so, resulting in 0 points. Altogether, classroom earned 20 out of 100 points, due to an ill-qualified teacher, reducing overall engagement and efficacy, and no teaching of self-regulation skills. Next, let's evaluate more permanent classrooms using the show Abbott Elementary. Although burnout increases over time, it's still important to consider earlier classrooms as younger students can also experience burnout, and by intervening earlier, we can further reduce burnout, especially by teaching self-regulation skills at younger ages. I will be looking at 2 teachers' classrooms, the first being Janine T, a newer teacher. Of course, her classroom changes a bit throughout the show as she adapts her teaching strategies, so I will focus on one specific episode, student transfer. In this episode, Janine struggles with a student that has transferred to her class. Throughout the episode, Janine clearly tries her best to increase engagement, even stating herself,
Keep my kids engaged.
and she's not wrong. She does things to make classroom activities more fun, such as making attendance entertaining.
All right, attendance time. So raise your hand if you're not here.
And this entertainment will carry over to engagement when she begins teaching, especially if she continues to be entertaining. Janine also has continuously high teacher efficacy. Before receiving Courtney into her class,
I've got something special in my classroom that's got the kids a-talking.
and after.
I can handle it.
This is especially impressive because when Courtney is introduced to the class, she immediately starts causing problems. But Janine is motivated and persists until she finds a solution.
You want to bump the puzzles kid up a grade?
Yes. After talking to Melissa about how she was able to keep Courtney in line, we realized the only thing that works is when she feels challenged.
Basically, Courtney was not challenged enough. Imagine an adult in their kindergarten class. This is an extreme situation, but it makes my point very clear. They would be bored, they wouldn't be able to connect well with other students, reducing student-peer relationships, and they probably wouldn't appreciate the teacher treating them like they're a child, reducing the student-teacher relationship. This is what Courtney was experiencing. With this, we have enough information to fill out the rubric. For the student-teacher relationship, Janine will earn a 7 out of 10 because she clearly cares for and does her best to help her students, which is especially proven by her persistence in helping Courtney. However, Courtney also reveals that not all of Janine's students respect her, resulting in less academic engagement. For the student-peers relationship, she will once again earn a 7 out of 10 for almost the same reasons. She utilizes what we can assume to be team-based exercises.
Your next word is smooth. Go, go, go.
These are great because they can boost both engagement and student-peer relationships. In higher level classes, like 12th grade, it would obviously be better to include exercises that require more collaboration, but for 2nd grade, Janine's exercises are suitable. However, Courtney still harasses some other students, and Janine has a hard time stopping her, which reduces student-peer relationships. For the teacher-subject relationship, Janine will earn a full 20 out of 20 points as she clearly knows and understands the 2nd grade concepts she is teaching. And for efficacy, she will also earn full points, 15 in student and 15 in teacher, as she continues believing in herself and her students. And finally, for the development of student self-regulation skills, Janine will earn 3 out of 30 points because she doesn't really teach any self-regulation skills. The closest she gets is when she tells Courtney,
We will sit down together, maybe do a puzzle. I bet you love puzzles as much as I do. And just work through some of those feelings together.
as this could teach Courtney to reach out and ask for help when needed, but Janine doesn't explicitly say to do this. So in total, Janine will earn 67 out of 100 points, doing very well in terms of engagement and efficacy, but lacking when it comes to the development of student self-regulation skills. Altogether, this means that her students will most likely do well in her class, but may be more prone to burnout in the future as they have not developed the skills necessary to prevent burnout. Next, we have Barbara Howard, an experienced teacher at Abbott Elementary. Once again, her classroom may change throughout this show, so I will focus on Season 1, Episode 4, New Tech. In this episode, Barbara struggles with the addition of technology to her classroom. This is seen throughout the episode, such as when she tries to use a computer to teach.
Right, we are going to have to grab a noun from the noun pool.
I don't get this.
Sweetheart, neither do I.
This clearly shows how reduced teacher efficacy can reduce student efficacy. She is unable to explain the subject to the student because she doesn't understand it herself. However, Barbara does have high efficacy, as long as she's not using technology. So that's what she decides to do.
I'm going to continue teaching my students how to read like I have been for 30 years.
Throughout the rest of the episode, she continues teaching her student, William, and supporting him due to this high efficacy. And in doing so, we can see other aspects of her classroom, such as using William's name to help him learn words.
Jack and Jill went up the...
Okay, Will, it's your name with an H.
Helium!
This is great because it relates content to him, increasing his engagement, and she expresses her belief in him. This can increase efficacy. As explained previously, higher efficacy ultimately results in better academic achievement, and this is proven when William learns how to read.
At 54, I'm still in progress, and I hope I always will be.
Something he only attempted because he believed he could do it because of Barbara. So when it comes to the rubric, Barbara will get a full 10 out of 10 on the student-teacher relationship, as she is respected and approachable, which is shown throughout the episode.
Good morning. Come on down. You ready for a good day?
For the student-peers relationship, we don't see much interaction between students, but when William has to read in front of the school and seems unable to do so, she praises him and compliments his dance skills, therefore making him feel more at ease in the school, increasing the student-peer relationship. So Barbara will earn a 5 out of 10 for this category. And for the teacher-subject relationship, she will of course earn a full 20 out of 20 points as she knows elementary level content. And when it comes to efficacy, she will earn a full 15 points in both categories as she continuously believes in her own and her students' capabilities. And once again, for the development of student self-regulation skills, we don't see much. However, her student learning how to read on his own suggests that she did teach him to study on his own, and studying is a self-regulation skill, so she will receive 10 out of 30 points. This puts her at a total of 75 out of 100 points. And similar to the previous classroom, this is due to high engagement and efficacy, but a lack of development of student self-regulation skills. Altogether, we can see that these classrooms, like most good classrooms, promote engagement and efficacy. However, they are lacking when it comes to the development of student self-regulation skills. And though these are taken from online media, which is of course limiting as they are created for entertainment and they have a shorter duration than a real classroom experience would be, they still show a bit about what happens in actuality. Students are not taught enough self-regulation skills, eventually resulting in burnout when they progress through school and gain more independence. However, there are solutions, like the teaching of student self-regulation skills.